name is Angela Zuniga Taylor. I'm Mexican American and I go to TCU and I'm in my second MBA, second year of my MBA program. And I should graduate in 2025, this May 2025. So I graduated from Baylor University in 2017, and right after that, I went through a short of an unemployment trying to find work, and I was able to get a marketing coordinator role at Sun & Ski Sports, which is a small retailer that focuses in skiing attire as well, like outdoor adventure kind of attire as well. And then my husband got a job at Lockheed Martin. And so I relocated from Houston to the Fort Worth area. And that's where I found a job in nonprofit with Girl Scouts of Texas Oklahoma Plains, which is a council under the Girl Scouts of America. And I worked for them in their product program department, which is all things cookies, everything from like buying and ordering cookies or putting the program on itself. I worked there for specifically for Fort Worth, and I was able to have a promotion to as a manager role in covering all product programs. So I had a team of about 5. I also took on the customer experience team, which was another team of 5. And I was working there, and nonprofit does take a lot, and it's really rewarding, but it was getting to a point where I was getting burnt out a little bit and maybe just needed to change the pace. And I was a part of a group called Leadership Fort Worth. And that's where I was able to obtain a full ride scholarship to TCU to do my MBA. So that's how I ended up here. I always knew I wanted to do it. Like, I wanted to go back to school. I wanted to get an MBA. It was in the cards, but I think I was also like, I want to make money after. I want to make money. I want to have something of my own for a little bit. I wanted to get out of school. And then it kind of kept on getting pushed. You get into your habits and into your rhythm, and it was just like, oh, maybe one day. But it was always something I wanted because I wanted that higher education, because I wanted to be a leader in an organization of some sort. And I really was passionate about that. But I didn't see how I could get that done. So when Leadership Fort Worth gave me that opportunity of like, hey, we have this opportunity for you, you can apply or you don't have to apply, I went home to my husband and I was like, I think I should apply. He's like, oh yeah, you should definitely apply. And then in the end, I got chosen for that honor. So I think that's kind of was like, okay, it's meant to be. Like, this is my path to getting what I always wanted. So if not now, when? I really loved the staff. So when TCU Neeley, they had a recruiter come, David Stein, to our Leadership Fort Worth meeting. I just really loved his energy. I always knew of TCU because I went to Baylor, so technically we're rivals. But I wasn't always in tune on what they were all about. And when I moved to Fort Worth, I really loved how TCU kind of lived and breathed with its community rather than like kind of take over, like being a college town. I go to Baylor, I went to Baylor, so like Waco is Baylor, Baylor is Waco. My husband went to A&M, so like College Station is A&M, A&M is College Station. Whereas like Fort Worth has its own identity, TCU has its own identity, and then they come together to form this really great like synergy in the community. And I really appreciated that. And I really appreciated the staff. And then I also noticed all the alumni, anyone who worked for TCU just loves TCU. So that was really what pushed me over to and like made me want to even again keep going with my path of like, this is my path to go in. I'm a part of Graduate Women in Business, as well as Neeley & Associates, which is a consulting group on campus that kind of takes on these projects for entire semester. So this last year, I was a consultant, and now I'm a principal. So it's been really great. I loved all of and we also have different groups as well as like Supply Chain Club, Data Analytics Club that I've been able to kind of dive into and looking more into as I like try to find all the different aspects of business. I really loved Graduate Women in Business my first year. I love that it was a mixture of both very professional meetings or conversations, but also some fun where you can have community with other women in business, but do other activities. So we have a workout, we have a brunch, and being able just to talk to each other and kind of support one another through our journey in the business world that may not always have, or like we might be the only one who look like each other in the room. So I've been really appreciative of that and that community that I've had, and I'm really grateful to be able to meet so many amazing women. And then for the principal role, I haven't yet received a team yet, but from what I've saw my principal do for me on my team last year is they weren't there to tell me what to do or force me to do it one way. They kind of guided me into my own answer that I then executed my own and along with my team members. And that's something different because I think naturally you're like, oh, stop, don't go that route. You should go this route. But it's different to tell someone to guide them and say, hey, maybe go explore this thing that you've been thinking about, and you letting us use our tools. So I really hope I'll be able to do that with my team once I get my consultant team as well. Most definitely. I think I always wanted to be a leader. I was captain of my dance team in high school, and I was a leader in my dance team at Baylor. So I know I like to lean into that leadership role. I don't think I was always the best leader though. I didn't know how to get everyone's talent out, right? And I feel like Neeley has taught me how to not only use my talents to help a team move forward, but also how I could then get other people's talents who maybe don't shine as high or as bright, how I can help them then bring that out and use that talent into their everyday work. So I think I truly have changed more into a service leader mindset and making sure that I am there as a guide, a helper, rather than a teller or a doer. Because I definitely like to execute, so I can feel like I can I'll just take that. Well, I don't have to always take that. I just have to find the skill set of another person who might want to dive into that more. For a service leader mindset, I think of it as more as a person who is a helper in a team, who is there as a guide rather than a teller, and is a person who their team members can also lean on in times of maybe a struggle or, hey, I really can't get over this hump. Can you now come and help me? And then I can as a leader, go in and try to help that person move forward rather than kind of just taking over. For me, I've always liked that kind of leadership, and I know I reacted well to that because I don't like to be micromanaged and I appreciate my autonomy. And so I want to make sure I focus on each individual person. So instead of leading the way I think they should be led, I lead the way they want to be led. And I think that has definitely been something I've learned even more as I'm at Neeley, because we have so many group projects and we have so many different dynamics. And sometimes I think when I was younger, I thought everyone should have the same mindset as me and have an execution mindset and a mover, a doer, a discipline. Whereas I now value other people's creativity, their way of doing work. Maybe they have a strategic mindset or they're more analytical and finance mindset. And I feel like as a service leader, I can now use everybody and help everyone get to their best goal and be the best version of themselves that they want to be. Another big reason why I came to Neeley is because I really wanted to land a job at AT&T. It was always in my AT&T, it's a big company, somewhere I would think I could thrive and strive, really be able to strive to be a better person and be a better worker. And so that was my focus. And since then I was able to really, at the get-go, starting Neeley, they kind of helped me get to that. They introduced me to people who are alumni who also work at AT&T, and I was able to create connections and talk to them on like what I should focus on. And so for me, I was a sourcing intern this summer, and I was able to learn that process of procurement, and which is a little different at AT&T than it is at, somewhere else. We do a lot of contract bases and everything. So I was able to use some of my kind of foundational pieces at Neeley. So some of the procurement class, like sourcing classes, I got to know, okay, what is that in the essence of business, and what does that entail for me? Like, what do I need to be providing? And so that really gave me a good foundation. But then, as well as like Neeley and Associates helped me know how to ask the right questions and keep asking why, and not being scared to ask why, or being a little bit more critical. I'm like, okay, I hear you're saying this, but what does that mean in regard to all these other things? So I think that's really been helpful in my internship now, as I have really been able to connect with people, and by my questions and by my intrigue of just wanting to know more, as I don't know anything. I didn't know much about the telecommunications industry, and now I feel like I got a crash course, and now I love it. I loved my internship. It was an amazing experience that also helped me grow, even within that. Last year, when I was a consultant with Neeley and Associates, I was assigned a project with Alcon Surgical to create a sustainability scorecard for one of their specific custom packs, which is a pack of all the things a surgeon will need when they go through surgery. And so with Alcon, a custom pack is the surgeon gets to choose which item they want. So I want this robe, I want this kind of scalpel, and I need this amount of gauze during every single one of my surgeries, right? And what Alcon wanted was, they wanted to have something where they could show their clients that this product is a little bit more sustainable than this one. And it was a feat to come up with. I wasn't much experienced in sustainability in that way. I understood, basic concepts. I understood ESG and what that meant, but I didn't know how I could formulate that in a very analytical way, and making sure that we were not greenwashing in any way as well. So that was a really big learning experience of like, okay, you might not be the expert, but you're gonna be. So you got to do all your research and be very in tune with what's going on in that subject as we grow. And then also I learned how to listen to what my client wanted, and keep for my group, we struggled at the beginning. We didn't know how to answer the question they wanted to be answered. So we actually were, with the help of our principal, who said, maybe you need just a meeting where you just ask questions and just keep asking until you get to something that you understand. And that was something that I'm very appreciative of. Just keep asking. If you don't understand, just keep asking, ask it in different ways, ask why. They'll then be able to change their answer for us as well. And we, in the end, were able to get that down, and then now knew exactly what they wanted. I also learned to always ask, is this what you need? Is this what you like? Is this what you're looking for in this area of one of our deliverables? Is that what you're looking for? And to hear yes every time, you're like, okay, we're on the right track. Or no, it's like, oh, can you tweak that? So that was really great to say, maybe to have that humility as well. Like maybe that first project or that first deliverable wasn't exactly what they wanted, but you can tweak it and then it becomes what they want. So I think that was my biggest learning experience. It was a great experience. It definitely pushed me. I love TCU campus. It's so nice. I can see how it's actually smaller, which I didn't feel that it was small until I came there, and I was like, wow, this gives very big city, small town vibes, right? I really feel like it's a connected community, especially within the Neeley School, because there's so many crossovers between everything. And for me, I was really grateful for my cohort, because I I notice also the diversity within our cohort of ethnicity, of gender, and then as well as background. So we have educators, and we have those who were in nonprofit like myself, in the public sector, finance. So there's all these different perspectives. We have students who came straight through from undergrad. So I really appreciated that diversity, because we were able to see different perspectives and how things, if you learn something from the get-go, how that kind of shapes your perspective and what your thinking process is. So I really enjoyed that aspect of my cohort as a whole. And then just the fun that we have as well. We have so many great events. So not only do we have, the very business events like a C-level confidential suite meetings, but we also, we have speakers come in to talk with us, but also our fun events like our tailgates and our like happy hours and all of those. I just felt like it was a perfect mix of all the things that I wanted to get out of going to get my MBA. I think it reaffirmed in many ways, but also kind of expanded. I wanted, because of Girl Scouts and because I manage the cookie program, which is a very supply chain heavy, it's kind of quiet in that way. You don't realize how much supply chain is in that. I fell in love with supply chain in that way. And I was saying, maybe I should focus on supply chain since I did marketing in undergrad. I was able to then see and say, let me dip my toes in my MBA and see if I like it. And in the end, I did. I loved it. I loved our professors. I loved the aspect of supply chain. So I knew, okay, this is my route that I want to take. And that just got reaffirmed again in my internship when I was in the supply chain organization doing sourcing. I was like, okay, this is what I want to do, and it reaffirmed that. I think it expanded because now I always thought of myself as someone who executes and wants to get work done, but I realized I do enjoy leading. I now want to have that role in my future of some sort. I want to be a leader in my organization, in my company of any sort, of a manager or something. I feel like Neeley, it definitely expanded that because they give us that manager mindset of, okay, if you are a leader, it's great to do it, but if you're a leader, how do you go about doing that, and how do you get people to follow you? And I think that definitely has expanded my career as well. It's like, okay, this is something I want to do in my future.